When you decide to focus on yourself, truly focus, something powerful happens. You activate a level of transformation that doesn't need to be announced, explained, or justified. Most people waste their lives broadcasting their intentions. They talk about what they're about to do, where they're about to go, and who they're about to become. But the ones who rise, the ones who shock everyone, are the ones who learn to move in silence. They stop talking and start building. Winning in silence is not about hiding. It's about understanding that growth loses power when it's exposed too early. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every morning to show everyone it's growing. You keep it in the soil, you water it, you protect it, and you allow the magic to happen where no one can see. Your life works the same way. The most powerful upgrades in your identity happen internally long before they ever show up externally. And once the internal shifts, the external has no choice but to follow. Silent discipline is the foundation of this mindset. Discipline that only works when people are watching is performance. Discipline that works when no one is watching is transformation. Every great breakthrough is born from countless silent repetitions. Those early mornings, those late nights, those moments when you choose focus over comfort. While other people crave attention, you're building endurance. While others are looking for applause, you're developing mastery. And the day will come when the results they see are the results you earned in rooms they never entered. You must create an inner identity so powerful that the world can't shake it. You rise because you've decided that the version of you today is too small for the vision inside you. Your progress begins the moment you stop chasing validation and start strengthening your self-image. The reason most people stay average is because they let the noise of other people determine their worth. But when you choose to win in silence, you train yourself to trust your own voice above all others. You build confidence from action, not approval. You build certainty from repetition, not recognition. And you must stop comparing your chapter with someone else's highlight reel. Comparison is the thief of peace, focus, and momentum. You were never meant to run their race, you were meant to run yours. Your responsibility is not to be better than them. It's to be better than the version of you from yesterday. If you can commit to that one idea, your life becomes unstoppable because personal progress compounds. One day of improvement leads to another, and soon people can't recognize you, not because you changed overnight, but because you changed daily. Daily habits are what create shock. People won't be amazed because you said you were working. They'll be amazed because you kept working. They'll be shocked not by your dreams, but by your discipline. Quiet consistency builds loud results. The routines you maintain in private will create the victories you celebrate in public. Every rep, every decision, every sacrifice is a brick in the structure of your future. And if you lay those bricks with patience and purpose, eventually you will build a life that commands respect without ever asking for it. But to win in silence, you must protect your environment. You cannot rise if you keep feeding on the noise that drains your energy. Some people are addicted to drama, negativity, and distraction. If you let them, they will sabotage your focus, distort your vision, and slow your momentum. Silence is not just about keeping your mouth closed. It's about eliminating the voices that don't deserve access to your mind. The moment you protect your energy, your direction becomes clear, and clarity is the silent engine of achievement. At the end of the day, your goal is simple. Let the results speak. Let the transformation announce itself. When your actions align with your ambitions, you don't need to convince anyone of who you are becoming. They will see it. They will feel it. They will respect it. Because results are undeniable. Words can be debated, but outcomes cannot. So focus on yourself. Build quietly. Grow steadily. Work privately. And let the world be shocked by the person you finally reveal. Your silence is not weakness. It is strategy. And your results will be the loudest noise you ever make. Mastering the art of silent discipline means choosing to grow where no one can applaud you, choosing to push yourself when there's no audience, and choosing to stay committed even when no one is checking on you. Most people need eyes on them to stay consistent. They need someone to notice their effort, validate their progress, or congratulate their small wins. But silent discipline is different. It's powered by purpose, not praise. It's built on an internal fire that burns whether someone sees your effort or not. Silent discipline is doing what needs to be done without announcing it, documenting it, or trying to prove anything. It's waking up early to work on your goals when everyone else is sleeping. It's putting in the repetitions when you feel tired, unmotivated, or overlooked. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Silent discipline is the reason people will one day say you came out of nowhere, even though you've been grinding for months or years in places they never paid attention to. What makes silent discipline powerful is that it strengthens something most people never develop: your inner integrity. You become someone you can trust. You become someone whose word means something, not because you said it to others, but because you honored it with yourself. When no one is watching and you still do the work, your confidence expands. You start to believe deeply in your ability to execute. You don't need hype, motivation, or validation because your identity is built on actions, not emotions. Silent discipline also removes pressure. When you stop broadcasting your plans, you stop inviting opinions, doubts, and discouragement from others. You give yourself the freedom to build without interference. You protect your goals from premature exposure. And without that outside noise, you gain clarity, focus, and momentum. Silent discipline isn't glamorous. It's not always fun, but it is always transformational. Every silent hour you invest multiplies, every private sacrifice compounds. You're building strength that doesn't fade when people stop paying attention, because people were never the fuel, your vision was. And when the results finally show, they will carry a weight that no amount of loud declarations could ever produce. Silent discipline creates outcomes that speak for themselves. Building an inner identity stronger than external noise means deciding who you are before the world tries to decide it for you. Most people live their lives based on reactions, reacting to opinions, reacting to criticism, reacting to expectations. They rise when others approve of them and fall the moment someone disapproves. But the people who truly win, the ones who move with power and certainty, are the ones who build an identity so solid that no amount of noise can shake it. Your inner identity is the blueprint of your life. It determines how you think, how you act, how you respond, and ultimately how you rise. When you see yourself as capable, disciplined, focused, and worthy of success, your actions naturally align with that belief. That self-concept becomes your internal compass. But when your identity is weak, when it's built on other people's opinions, you end up moving through life confused, hesitant, and constantly seeking permission to be great. To build a strong inner identity, you must stop outsourcing your self-worth. You cannot let compliments inflate you, and you cannot let criticism collapse you. Your value has to come from within, from your character, your commitments, your growth, and your vision. When you root your identity in purpose instead of praise, you become unshakable. You don't need people to understand your journey. You don't need them to approve your decisions. You don't need them to clap for you. Your validation comes from the future you're building, not the voices surrounding you. A strong inner identity also requires honesty. You must look at yourself and ask, who am I becoming? What qualities am I reinforcing daily? Every habit you practice is casting a vote for the type of person you believe yourself to be. If you consistently choose discipline, you build the identity of someone who follows through. If you repeatedly choose distractions, you build the identity of someone who avoids responsibility. Identity is shaped by repetition, and once your identity rises, your environment loses its power. The world can doubt you, misunderstand you, ignore you, or criticize you, and you'll still keep moving. You won't be thrown off course because you're anchored in who you are and who you're becoming. People around you may try to limit you based on your past, but your identity will be rooted in your future. That's why inner identity matters. It frees you from the prison of other people's expectations. When your inner identity is stronger than the external noise, you don't chase validation. You attract respect. You don't seek approval. You produce results. You don't get discouraged by opinions. You stay aligned with your mission. You gain a quiet power, a stable confidence, a kind of internal strength that makes you unstoppable. Because at that point, you're no longer living on reactions, you're living on intention, you're living on purpose. And purpose is louder than any noise the world can make. Replacing comparison with personal calibration means shifting your focus from what everyone else is doing to what you are becoming. The moment you compare yourself to someone else's progress, you disconnect from your own path. You start running a race that was never designed for you. You begin measuring your worth with someone else's achievements, someone else's timeline, someone else's opportunities. And that mindset will rob you of your confidence, your clarity, and your momentum. Personal calibration means looking inward and asking the only question that truly matters: am I better than I was yesterday? That's the standard. That's the scoreboard. That's the measuring stick that leads to real growth. Because when you calibrate yourself against your own potential, the competition becomes healthy, focused, and purposeful. You're no longer fighting for attention or validation. You're striving for improvement. Comparison is dangerous because it comes with illusions. You see someone's highlight reel and compare it to your behind the scenes. You see their success, but not their sacrifices. You see their results, but not their repetitions. You see their breakthrough, but not their breakdowns. And if you judge your journey through that distorted lens, you'll always feel behind, even when you're making progress. Personal calibration brings your attention back to where it belongs. It forces you to take responsibility. It makes you evaluate your habits, your routines, your mindset, and your daily decisions. It pushes you to ask, what can I do better today? What can I improve? What can I adjust? That's how real growth happens, not by comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, but by comparing your chapter 2 to your chapter 1. When you calibrate inward, you start honoring your own pace. You start appreciating the small wins. You start noticing how far you've come instead of obsessing over how far someone else has gone. And that shift produces peace. It produces focus. It produces power. Because now you're running your race with intention instead of insecurity. And here's the truth. The only person who can stop you is the person in the mirror. If you beat yesterday, you're winning. If you take one step forward, you're progressing. If you stay committed to your path, it's only a matter of time before your results speak for themselves. Others may look faster, but speed means nothing without direction. When you stay calibrated to your own growth, you guarantee that every step you take is aligned with your purpose. Replace comparison with calibration, and you'll unlock a version of yourself that doesn't get intimidated by others, but inspired by your own progress. You'll rise with quiet confidence. You'll evolve with steady momentum. And you'll discover that the real competition has never been anyone else. It has always been the person you were yesterday. Daily habits create the shock factor because real transformation doesn't come from dramatic announcements. It comes from quiet repetition. People are often impressed by big results, but they rarely see the small, consistent actions that produce them. They think success happens overnight, but those overnight moments are built on hundreds of days where you disciplined yourself to do what others avoided. When you commit to powerful daily habits, you create a rhythm that compounds over time. Every morning you choose discipline. Every hour you choose focus. Every night you choose progress. You're stacking wins that silently build your future. While others wait for motivation, you rely on structure. While others chase shortcuts, you master consistency. And consistency is the ultimate separator. Your daily habits are the quiet contracts you make with yourself. Waking up early, reading, learning, working on your craft, training your body, managing your money, controlling your mind. These aren't small things. These are the foundation of the life you're building. Day by day, they're shaping your identity, sharpening your skills, and increasing your capacity. And even when the results are not immediately visible, something powerful is happening inside you. You're becoming the kind of person who wins. What shocks people isn't that you succeeded, it's how you succeeded. They didn't see the nights you spent working while they slept. They didn't see the hours you invested while they scrolled. They didn't see the sacrifices you made while they made excuses. They only see the outcome. And that outcome contradicts the story they had about you. That's why it shocks them. Daily habits turn effort into excellence and discipline into dominance. You don't rise because of one big effort. You rise because of 1,000 small decisions that align with your future. You don't become unstoppable because of one big push. You become unstoppable because of steady progress that refuses to slow down. And here's the truth. Habits don't just create results, they create identity. When you do something every day, it becomes who you are. If you practice excellence daily, excellence becomes your default. If you practice discipline daily, discipline becomes your nature. And when those habits become your identity, success becomes inevitable. One day, people will look at your life and wonder how you changed so drastically. They'll be shocked by the results, amazed by your transformation, and inspired by your growth. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't magic, luck, or a sudden breakthrough. It was the daily habits you honored long before anyone was paying attention. It was the quiet work that created the loud results. It was consistency that built the shock factor. Protecting your energy from people who drain your focus is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, because no matter how strong your goals are, the wrong voices can weaken your momentum. Some people aren't draining you because they are evil. They're draining you because they are unfocused, undisciplined, and driven by chaos. And if you allow their habits, attitudes, and emotions into your mental space, you will start carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Your energy is the fuel of your progress. Your focus is the steering wheel of your direction. When you give these away to people who don't value them, you stall your journey. Some people talk endlessly but do nothing. Some complain without taking action. Some doubt everything, including themselves. And others are so consumed with drama that they want you to sit in the front row of their chaos. If you're not careful, you'll spend your life trying to fix people who have no intention of fixing themselves. Protecting your energy means being selective about who gets access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your attention, or your mental bandwidth. You can love people and still keep them at a distance. You can care for people without letting them influence your decisions. You can be supportive without becoming their emotional dumping ground. Boundaries are not disrespect. They are self-respect. You must understand that every conversation either builds your focus or breaks it. Every environment either strengthens your discipline or weakens it. Every person you allow in your circle either fuels your future or distracts you from it. If someone consistently drains you, undermines your vision, doubts your goals, or pulls you toward negativity, you owe it to yourself to pull back. Not because you're better than them, but because your future is too important to gamble with. And here's the powerful part. Once you remove draining people from your space, your clarity returns. Your creativity expands. Your peace strengthens. Your motivation increases. You start hearing your own thoughts again. You begin trusting your instincts. You gain the emotional room to grow into the person you're becoming instead of shrinking to fit the expectations of those who don't understand your journey. Protecting your energy is not isolation, it's elevation. It's guarding the fire inside you so it doesn't burn out from exposure to people who walk through life carrying buckets of doubt, drama, and negativity. When you focus on your path, surround yourself with people who uplift you and distance yourself from those who distract you. Your growth accelerates. You become more disciplined, more focused, and more unstoppable. Your future requires strength. Your vision requires space. Your purpose requires peace. Cut off the noise, guard your energy, and watch how fast your life transforms when you stop allowing draining people to slow you down. Letting results make the noise means allowing your actions to speak louder than your explanations, your progress to speak louder than your promises, and your transformation to speak louder than your intentions. Most people announce every plan, every move, every goal, hoping the world will applaud them before they've even done anything. But the truth is, talking creates pressure, and results create power. When you focus on execution instead of attention, you build momentum that doesn't depend on anyone's reaction. When you let results make the noise, you free yourself from the need to convince anyone of who you're becoming. You don't have to argue, defend, or explain your journey. You don't have to seek approval or permission. You simply show up, do the work, and allow the outcomes to reveal what you've been building behind the scenes. People can question your vision, doubt your ability, or underestimate your potential, but they cannot argue with results. Results silence opinions. Results override excuses. Results answer every doubt without you saying a word. This mindset rewires your focus. It shifts your energy away from trying to be seen and toward trying to become. Instead of spending your time crafting the perfect announcement, you spend your time crafting the perfect execution. Instead of seeking recognition, you seek mastery. Instead of proving yourself to people, you prove yourself to your future. Letting results make the noise also protects you from premature criticism. When people don't know your moves, they can't sabotage them. When they don't know your plans, they can't discourage them. When they don't know your next step, they can't pull you off your path. Silence becomes your strategy, and progress becomes your shield. And when the results finally show, they carry more weight because no one saw them coming. People will look at your life and wonder how you leveled up so fast, how you transformed so powerfully, how you achieved what you once struggled with. They'll think it was sudden, but you'll know it was the silent hours, the quiet discipline, the private work, and the consistency that nobody respected because nobody saw it. Letting results make the noise means trusting the process enough to stay quiet while you build. It means believing in your work more than you believe in the need for attention. It means understanding that success does its own speaking, and when it speaks loudly. So keep your head down and your standards high. Keep your circle small and your focus sharp. Keep your work consistent and your conversations minimal. Because the day will come when the results show up. And when they do, they'll speak for you in ways your words never could. The noise you didn't make during the journey will be replaced by the noise your success makes at the finish line. In the end, winning in silence is about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to announce anything, because the transformation is undeniable. When you focus on yourself, eliminate the noise, build powerful habits, protect your energy, and commit to the quiet work, you create a life that speaks louder than any words you could ever say. You stop chasing validation and start creating results. You stop comparing and start calibrating. You stop performing for others and start performing for your future. The world may not understand your silence, but they will respect your results. They will see the discipline, the growth, the consistency, and the strength that you built when no one was watching. And the moment you step into the version of yourself that you've been building in private, you'll shock everyone. Not because you wanted to impress them, but because you refuse to be distracted by them. So stay committed, stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay silent. Your results are coming, your breakthrough is coming, and when it shows up, it will speak louder than anything you could have ever announced. Your silence is your strategy, your discipline is your foundation, and your results will be the noise that tells your story.